Okay, thank
Well,
you.
one of the great ironies of this case is that his sons complained to me that when they're at his house, their father spends no time with them because all his energy goes into his father's organization. And this so perfectly fits what all of us have been saying about abusers for years. It's got nothing to do with the children. But it has to do with his power and his control and his ego and a whole set of other issues that are what really drive the abusive mentality and abusive behavior. And it was terribly ironic. By the way, both of these boys were asking to live with their father. But the reason that they were not, neither of them was able to come up with very much nice to say about him. And they could say lots that was positive about their mother. And when I pointed this out to them, I asked them why, given that they wanted to live with their father, they said because he'd been done such a terrible injustice by the fact that he hadn't been given joint custody from the beginning. And he was very open with me. The father was very open with me. He had immediately upon losing custody when the relationship first broke up, when his children were 8 and 6, immediately started talking to them about what an injustice that was and custody should have been shared, and had immediately, he didn't deny this, he didn't see there was anything wrong with this, had immediately started holding out for them the possibility that eventually he would win custody. And this had predictable effects. You know, the mother would find the two children saying things to her like, well, we don't have to listen to what you say because Dad's going to go back in court. But the abusers have in many ways out-organized this, and they've also done the public relations game very well. You know, they don't call this an abusers' rights movement. They call it a father's rights movement. Now, most fathers would be appalled by what these organizations stand for, but most fathers don't know what these organizations stand for. If you hear father's rights, fathers are going to tend to think, well, that's a good thing. If you don't actually read what they stand for, what they advocate for, and I have stopped using the term father's rights. I think it's a poor expression of what they are. It's like calling the Ku Klux Klan sort of white people's rights. They are father supremacists. We need to start referring to them as father supremacy. Father supremacist organizations, that's what they are. And I've made up their slogan. Their slogan is, more rights for fathers because we don't have all of them yet. I'm speaking as a father, but as a divorcing father, by the way. I understand fathers have their concerns, but that's no excuse for joining up with the supremacy organization. Oh, so I got to tell you one more story. Anyone who hears me do trainings knows that half the day gets wasted in stories. I was training the state police in the state of Massachusetts, and I started to explain some of the post-separation issues, because police end up involved in some of these things and certain issues that come up. Even though in Massachusetts, custody orders aren't enforceable by police still end up being involved in various things. And so I was trying to explain to the cops so they would know what the so-called father's rights movement is all about. So this trooper, pretty fairly young guy, comes up to me during the break, and he says, you know, I'm divorced, and my wife's been playing these games with me, you know, messing with me around visitation. She's mad at me about something else, so I can't see the children, and so she hurts me through that. And so I went to one of these father's rights things that you were talking about, because I thought that's where you're supposed to go if you're getting jerked around about your visitation. They were all vandalism. He said at one point during the meeting, they asked for a show of hands for whoever had a restraining order against them. That's what we call a protective order.
Thank you.
He said, I was the only guy in the room, didn't raise my hand. And I think because he was a state trooper and actually had some training on domestic violence, knew what he was seeing, where some other people might not have recognized what it was. So the importance of organizing at the grassroots. At the same time, it's important to not say and not believe that grassroots organizing is any more important than any other kind of organizing that people do. And every effort that we've heard about tonight, for example, is so important. And I see some unfortunate loss of energy at times going to saying, well, people should be doing this, or people should be doing that, or people should be doing the other thing about the mother's custodial rights, when the truth is, people should be everything. It all has to be done. And I'm going to give you a sort of an allegory about this. The story about a revolution, a true story from a revolution in Nicaragua in the 70s, where the revolutionary movement divided up very bitterly into three factions that were in favor of primarily organizing resistance and rebellion in the countryside among peasant farmers. A faction that really believed that primarily what had to be done was organizing industrial workers, so-called proletariat, in the more urbanized areas. And a faction that believed that they should be pushing for an immediate armed rebellion, armed insurrection right away. And they ended up breaking up. They finally couldn't get along anymore. They, with tremendous bad, this happened all over the world, in the United States, with tremendous resentment and bad feeling, they split up, wouldn't have anything more to do with each other, and the movement splintered, except it didn't. Because the people who believed in organizing in the countryside were often organizing in the countryside. The people who believed that they had to organize urban workers were often organizing urban workers. The people who believed they had to be preparing for armed rebellion with all their energy and trying to get ready for armed rebellion. And it was only about 3 years later that they reformed their coalition and won their revolution, at least for a period of years, so they were So the importance of respecting what everybody's doing, not feeling that our way is the right way, that this particular organization or that particular organization is doing the key work to building this movement. Let's really respect and admire what everybody's doing. The reason I'm emphasizing grassroots organizing is because I think that's one of the pieces that's most been missing over the years, and one of the places where, as I say, the abusers are really beating us, and where I think a lot of our energy needs to go. And building on that, I think we need to put a lot of our energy into cultivating, training, and supporting women's leadership, and particularly the leadership of protected mothers themselves, to form, build, run your own organizations, to believe you can do it. Again, all kinds of things we started out this evening with Angela Shelton are just so important to take inside, because your leadership is what's good. And I'm an ally, I'm certainly interested in bringing in of allies, but I want us to really focus on movements where the key voice, the key impetus, the key say, not necessarily all the say, but the key say, is coming from protected moms themselves. To broaden our definition of activism, there's a kind of activism that's about carrying signs, about picketing, about marching in the streets, about handing out leaflets. That's really important, actually, but we need to increase that aspect of the work that we do.